This was a win and survive game being played by two old school Pac-12 Titans, with each team having a pretty good QB. And Oregon's 42-27 win over the USC Trojans was one of the most frustrating games I've seen in a long, long time. This is QB Unfiltered, my take. Sloppy, 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 with a few great throws.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
Okay, this is going to be an analysis of the two quarterbacks in this game, USC's Jayden Maiava and the University of Oregon's Dante Moore. And at the end of this thing, I'm also going to interject a couple of mini rants because as a former coach, you know, watching this game was absolutely maddening to me. And I'm not so sure that in college football nowadays, coaches just aren't rolling the ball out there and saying, go ahead, guys, do what you want. As always, like and share this video. That really helps this channel out, and subscribe to QB Unfiltered. I greatly appreciate the support. Now, I've done videos on both of these quarterbacks this season already, and in my prior shows, I said that both these guys were good, not elite. And they both started off this game pretty dang sharp. They got the ball to the right guys, made good decisions, made really good throws. And then, you know, as the game started to go on, they just got a little less sharp and a little more sloppy, and particularly Maiava. I also feel that both Maiava and Moore have improved as the season has gone on, which is a natural progression for any quarterback. But I did a show earlier in this season where USC and Jayden Maiava were playing Notre Dame. And I did one earlier where Dante Moore and the Ducks were squaring off against Indiana. And I think that their play has improved as they've moved through the season. And as I said at the beginning of this thing, I think when the game started, both of those guys were cool, calm customers, and they went out and did their thing in the first quarter. All right, let's jump into some game clips, and we're going to start with Jayden Maiava's best throw of the game. You know, one thing you're going to notice here is a lot of these throws by these quarterbacks and a lot of these plays we're going to talk about happened in the first quarter or, you know, halfway into the second quarter. But that second half, man, that was rough. Okay. First quarter, it's 3rd and 6. USC's in a 2-by-2 formation, and they motion to trips left. Now, because Oregon doesn't respect the Trojans' run game, they're playing an extra DB in this defensive look, and this guy's a robber. Okay, it's the guy sitting right in center field there. And this is a coverage look that Oregon can play and run some different looks out of it when the ball is snapped. And it is solely based on the belief that the Ducks defensive coordinator doesn't think that USC can consistently run the ball. So they're lined up in a 4-2 wide. And when I say wide, those wide backers are wide. They're out over the 6 techniques, maybe even a little bit further outside than that. So you basically looking at a 4-0 box here. And those guys are that wide so that they can get out to the curl in the pass game and they can still sink in and play the hook if they need to. And in the secondary now, they're playing this matchup bracket man stuff where you're seeing a lot of double teams across the board, and they're able to do that with that extra robber guy in there. So let's break that down. On the snap, you've got the 2 corners that are locked up on the 2 outside receivers. They double the single receiver with that corner and the safety to his side. On the trip side, they bracket the number 3 receiver with the robber in center field and the backside stacked backer. And then they double the number 2 receiver with the safety to his side and that trip side stacked backer. Okay. So they've got doubles on those 3 guys. That leaves the only singled up coverage on outside receiver Jacoby Lane, who's running a vertical. Now, the one thing that I really liked about what Lincoln Riley did in this game was he took shots on outside verticals when Oregon was lined up with a press corner look and no safety safety help over the top. So they were either playing with a one safety high in the middle of the field, or they were playing with two safeties, but one of the safeties, both the safeties were lined up inside the hash marks or were lined up tighter to the line of scrimmage, where basically you've got a one-on-one matchup with the outside receivers. Take shots. Now, that being said, there were a lot of snaps in this game where SC didn't necessarily have a vertical call to any one of the outside receivers, but Oregon sure was giving it to them. And I was hoping to see Riley kill the play, check to another play, tag the outside receiver with that singled up coverage, and let Maiava take a shot. Okay, now, Jayden Maiava doesn't get any help from the left side of his offensive line here. His left tackle gets run by. You know, USC's two tackles are real liabilities in pass protection. I said that all the way back in the Notre Dame game. So you got the left tackle getting run by, and you got the left guard getting run over. And so you've got two dudes that are basically coming into Maiava's face. And Maiava takes a 3-step drop and gets the ball out of his hand on time and throws the perfect outside vertical. This is how you teach your quarterback to throw it. You put air under the ball and you drop it in the bucket. Okay. Get it out of your hand. So don't take a bunch of wasted steps, and lay it up with air. Right? And that's exactly what he did here. Now, Jacoby Lane, you know, he's frustrating at times, but this dude puts on some clinics with some routes. And man, does he have mitts out there catching the ball. But as I said, this is a clinic by Lane on how you run the outside vertical. So he releases on the corner, and the first thing he does, which is what you teach your receivers, is when he turns his head to locate the football, he doesn't slow down. Watch when receivers run vertical routes for the rest of the season on any team, any game you're watching, and watch how many of those guys, as they are blowing by the cornerback and turn their head to locate the football, slow down. Okay. Lane doesn't do that. Here's the second thing he does, which is beautiful. So that ball's coming down and it's drifting towards the sideline. And all Lane does is he just drifts with the ball to the sideline, keeping the football to his inside, which means he never loses sight of that ball. And he just drifts with the ball, drifts away from the DB, hauls it in, taps in on the sideline. Big play. This is Jayden Maiava's best throw of the game. All right, this is Maiava's second best throw of the game. You know, I debated for a while whether or not to make this his best throw. This is how good this one was. Now, this looks like an innocent little, I don't know, the way it played out, it looks like an innocent stop route to Jacoby Lane, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. And Jayden Maiava, this is advanced quarterback play by him. It's the first quarter. It's 2nd and 10. USC's in 2x2 and motion into trips left. Oregon's in that 4-2 wide, and they're playing a 2-robber pre-snap look. And this time they do play 2-deep zone with a robber sitting there in center field. Now, USC is running layered out routes here. So the number one receiver is running the short out route, and Jacoby Lane is running the deeper out route. He's the number 2 receiver. And then you've got their number 3 guy who's running like a hook route sitting in the box all by himself. Okay. And on the backside, you've got a curl route by the single receiver and a swing by the running back. Now, this is a little bit different drop by Maiava as he backs out after he gets the snap. He backpedals for 2 steps, and then he hits his plant step. USC's left guard gets abused again. I think this is number 60. He was a backup. Okay, here's the reason why this is a great throw. Like I said, they're in 2 deep. The safety to Lane side, who's running the deep out route, is playing with an outside, way outside leverage and alignment on this. Okay, so basically Lane, when he runs his out route, that guy is sitting outside and he sees Lane start to sink down and stick the toe to go to the outside. So now he is driving downhill on the outside of Lane. If Jacoby Lane keeps running that out route, this is going to be a big ass collision when the ball gets there. Now, to make things even dicier for Maiava is the cornerback. Now, with Lemon running that quick out, He's reading Maiava's eyes. He sees that he's looking deeper to lane. So that cornerback turns and bails underneath that out route. So you got a guy outside waiting for the out. You got a guy underneath it. And if that ball is thrown to the out route, it's going to be football, lane, safety, and cornerback ending up in the same spot at the same time. Here's what Jayden Maiava does. He holds lane up with the throw, which means he stops lane. He throws him open, in other words, and he saves his ass. By holding him up and stopping with that throw, this out route turns into basically just an outside hook route. And so Jacoby Lane's able to make the catch and then protect himself from the tackle that's going to happen. But this is QB 101, and this is advanced quarterback stuff by Maiava. Well done. All right, let's move to Jayden Maiava's first touchdown pass. It's first quarter. It's 3rd and 4 from the 9-yard line, and this is the tail end of USC's opening drive. Lincoln Riley out formations the Ducks on this play. So USC's lined up in a 2-by-2 formation, and they motion to trips right or a bunch right. And what are you going to get from the Ducks when you go 2-by-2? You're going to get that 4-2 wide and that 2 robber look, and that's exactly what they get here. Now, the way that USC is lined up formation-wise and where Lemon is and how Oregon plays this on the snap, the flat defender for the Ducks is out-leveraged before the ball's even snapped. This one's over before the ball is snapped. And, you know, Oregon's flat defender also was screwed with what he did on the snap of the ball. So instead of getting whipped with that swing, he takes a step or two back. And as soon as he did that, it was over. Now, I want you to notice on this that Maiava takes his drop and double clutches with the throw. So he gets ready to throw, he pulls it down, and then throws the swing to Lemon. What USC is running is they're running number 2 on either a stick route or a snag route, whatever you want to call it. And the number 3 receiver is running a corner route, and then you've got Lemon on the swing. I think Maiava is anticipating Oregon's cornerback widening with Lemon's swing route, and he's going to have a one-on-one situation with that corner route against the safety. And so he's ready to throw that, but as he gets it loaded up, that cornerback syncs with that corner route. So that thing's bracketed and doubled, and I think that surprised Maiava. So I think he's ready to throw the corner and then goes, whoa, shit. And instead of getting his feet and his hips flipped to throw the swing, he just flicks it, right? You know, he just flicks the ball and he throws an absolute dime on this. If this throw isn't perfect the way it was, hitting Lemon in stride, I'm not sure he gets in the end zone on this play. Well done by Riley, out formationing the Ducks. Well done by Maiava. Great throw. All right, let's talk about Dante Moore. This is QB 101 by Moore. First quarter, 2nd and 7. Oregon's in a 2-by-2 formation. USC's in 4-2 cover 3. So they've got a free safety in the middle of the field. Oregon's running a slant route to their slot receiver, Benson. This thing is a gimme, okay? Now, Moore knows that he's going there before the ball snapped. He knows that it's going to be a gimme, but it's what he does on the snap of the ball, which is really good. So if you look at his head and eyes, on the snap of the ball, he glances to his left, which is opposite from where he's getting the slant coming from, to his right. And he's doing that to try to get that free safety to move slightly away from the side he's throwing the slant route. So it's the little things like that that make things go. This is coached behavior by the Oregon Ducks and really well done by Dante Moore. This was an easy little pitch and catch, 22, 23-yard gain. All right, that leads us to the best throw of the game by Dante Moore. It's first quarter. It's 1st and goal. The ball's on the 8-yard line. Now, Oregon's in a tight end look to the left. They're in the pistol, so the running back's right behind the quarterback, and they've got an up back in the backfield to the right of Moore, and then a slot receiver formation to the right. USC is in a covered front. Covered means a nose guard on the center, 2-3 techniques on both guards, 2-6 techniques on both tackles, and 2 linebackers in the box. And because of the up back and the tight end in there, you've got more linebackers in the box. Those are linebackers / safeties, okay? And they're playing cover 0. Now, this is a great scheme by Oregon. Dante Moore fakes a downhill run, and that play fake gets every one of those backer / safeties in the box to step up. And they're doing that because they've got Sadiq coming in on behind them on that crossing route. Brilliant design on this. Now, Oregon's right tackle doesn't block this right. He should be stepping out and blocking that 6 technique. He hinges down for some reason and ends up doubling the 3 tech with the guard. The guard should have that guy by himself. So you've got the 6 technique coming unblocked, and he's going to be in Moore's grill. Moore now is falling away from the throw, throwing it off his back foot, and he puts a dime on Sadiq, who's got strong hands in the end zone. Touchdown. This is a great throw by Dante Moore. His best one of the night, in my opinion. Okay, this moves us now to Dante Moore's second best throw of the game. It's second quarter. It's 2nd and 2. Oregon's in a bunch left formation. They're in the pistol with the running back behind the QB. And USC is in 4-2 over. So they've got their linebackers, 2 in the box, slid over, and they're playing cover 3. So Moore play fakes now on a downhill run, and this freezes the curl flat defender to Moore's right. That's the side that they're going to be bringing the crosser, the deep crosser from left to right. That's affecting that guy who's supposed to drop into curl to that side. So that play fake gets this guy to freeze a little bit. The single receiver to the right runs a post route that clears the cornerback out with him, and they're running number 1 to the bunch side on this deep crosser. This is a nice little scheme. Now, USC's free safety, for whatever reason, jumps this crossing route. So he comes out of center field, and he's trying to drive on that crosser, and that curl flat guy that we talked about being affected by the run fake sees what's going on, and he turns and sprints to try to get underneath that crossing route. So when the ball is caught by the receiver, that free safety is about a half a yard behind the receiver, and that curl flat guy is about a yard outside of him. So you have got a small little window to stick that ball in. And Moore dimes this for a 23-yard gain. This is a great throw by him. All right, let's move to the pick now on 4th down by Maiava. It's 3rd quarter. It's 4th and 10. This isn't a great call here, folks. Not a great call. USC's in 2x2. Oregon's in a 32 up front. 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers up on the line of scrimmage over the guards and standing up, and they're playing 2-man coverage. Okay, the USC tight end and Lincoln Riley. I don't get it. I said the same thing about Steve Sarkisian in Texas and his reliance on playing a tight end dude in a 4-receiver set. I don't get it. That's just me. If you're going to line up a tight end in a 4-receiver set, get a 4th receiver in there that can run. Now, I get why they're motioning the tight end down, and I get why they are chipping him on that 6 technique to help their tackle and pass protection. But then they're asking him to release and run a rail route. That's a deep route down the sideline. That ain't happening. That's not happening. So you've got that, the tight end's out. Jacoby Lane on the left side doesn't run the world's greatest curl route. The vertical to Maiava's right is basically getting single covered by that corner. But I think what Maiava sees is that safety to that side is kind of like in between, like no man's land. He's wide enough to help out and double with the outside vert, or maybe he's not. He's too far inside. I don't know. Whatever the thing is, whatever the reason, whatever Maiava sees, he doesn't throw that vertical. Instead, he throws a out route to Lemon. Now, this route, it's not deep enough, and here is why. On these routes against man-to-man, what you have to do, you're getting pressed like Lemon is here. What you have to do, if he's going to take an outside release, which he does, the release is fine. It's the stem that gets him in trouble. The stem now is when you get vertical, and what you want to do as a receiver running an out route against man press is get that DB to turn his hips facing the goal line like he's going to chase your ass vertical. And as soon as you can get him to turn his hips to the goal line, that's when you stick your inside foot in the ground, that toe in the ground, and you burst it outside, and you've got all kinds of separation. But Lemon runs his route, his stem too short here, and he never allows the vertical push to be deep enough to affect the brain and what the slot defender thinks he's seeing. The other thing, Lemon is drifting slightly in the direction that he's going to make his break. And when I show you this on replay and I'm able to freeze this, I want you to look at that slot defender and where his hips are pointed as Lemon starts to break it outside. They're not pointed to the goal line. They're pointed in the direction that Lemon's running his route. So this is a failure, I think. Play design, not a great call, maybe not a great decision by Maiava. The route's too short by Lemon. The technique's not good. And then Maiava takes a 3-step and a hitch step. You can't do that, okay? This needs to be bang, bang. So it's too slow. The ball gets out late, and then Maiava throws it slightly behind Lemon. That slot defender has undercut this route, and it is a pick. Okay, final clip now is Dante Moore's great seam route, the 28-yard touchdown pass to Sadiq. It's third quarter. It's 3rd and 2. Oregon's in a tight end to the right, and then Sadiq is in a tight slot right outside of that tight end. And then they've got a receiver split out there to the right and a single receiver to the left. USC's running a 4-2 triangle, meaning they've got 3 linebackers in the box. It's a regular 4-2 alignment, but they've taken this third linebacker and put him behind those 2 linebackers in a point behind him. That's why you call it a triangle, 4-2 triangle. And that point guy in that triangle is a linebacker named Eric Gentry. Now, USC wants to be in 2-man here, but they can't get lined up. This happened a lot in this game. This happened with their backup safeties, and this happened with Gentry. Gentry could not get lined up a lot of times in this game. You're going to see the right cornerback before the ball snapped is motioning for the safety to get out towards the hash so they can play 2-man. And the guy that jacks this whole play up is Gentry, because he has Sadiq man-to-man, and when Sadiq does this motion out to the right slot, Gentry doesn't move. And as a result of that, he never gets out there to get a reroute, a hands-on, and run with Sadiq. Okay, so here you got a dude that can pick him up and put him down, who's got meat hooks for hands, who is running untouched, unfazed, completely all by himself on a 28-yard sprint right down the seam. Now, does that make it kind of easy for Dante Moore and company? Now, this is a long-ass throw because Dante Moore's footwork is a little jacked up. I'll talk about that in a second. The ball's in the air for a long time here, but USC's safeties, they don't help themselves out here. So the safety to the side, Sadiq, is on, be Dante Moore's right side safety. On the snap of the ball, he opens and looks to the outside receiver. So he's got no idea what Sadiq's doing. And then the backside safety takes the wrong angle to make a play on the ball. He comes way too flat. So that ball's in the air for a long time, but because how the safeties played this, they were able to stick this in there. Now, with Moore, he made this throw longer than what it should have by taking an extra step, because remember, his feet are in the wrong stagger. So instead of taking a 3-step, he's taking a 4-step. So he's taking that extra step. Then he takes a 3-step, and then he adds the dreaded hitch step. Anytime you're adding a hitch step when receivers are running verticals, either outside or in the seam, you can add about 8 to 10 yards on the throw, which that screws up plays if you got safeties back there that can run and take good, smart angles. Now, the throw, he throws an absolute bullet on this play and hits Sadiq right there, right where it needs to be. Again, strong hands, touchdown. And now we got to talk a little bit more about Mr. Gentry. Okay, so that leads me to my first mini rant. Now, like I said at the beginning of this thing, when I analyze and watch games and do reactions on this channel, it's based on being a former college coach, okay? And I'm looking at the game and I'm looking at film as a college coach. Now, I don't do analysis on defensive players, but this guy, Gentry, number 18, was so bad in this game in so many ways that I was absolutely floored for 4 quarters watching him play. And 2 things jumped out at me and rattled around in my head. Number 1, this is US freaking C, USC, right? These guys get the best dudes. They always have. And you don't have guys playing on defense for you that played the way this young man played in this game. Number 2, I kept saying to myself, why is he still on the field? Because I started focusing in on him after Oregon scored on their first touchdown. And I kept going, why is he still playing? Now, I don't know their injury situation, and I don't know if they didn't have anybody else to put in, or I don't know what the linebacker coaches are watching during the game. I don't know. But this guy played pretty much every defensive snap in this football game, playing the way that he played. Okay, that first Oregon touchdown, and they were running that 4-2 triangle look, and he was the point guy in that triangle, talking about Gentry. When they scored on the play and they went back and showed the replay, Gary Danielson went, I don't know what this guy Gentry's doing on this play. I don't know what he's looking at. I don't know what he's doing. That wasn't the worst part. So on the snap of the ball, Oregon's running the ball to the left. They got run flow to the left, and Gentry stands there and stares for a second and then starts drifting opposite. But it's what he did next that I just sat there and went, are you shitting me? Watch the effort that he put in on this play, right? This is a lose and go home game for the playoffs. And this is how he played from the first quarter through the rest of the game. After that first play, I watched him for the rest of the game, and it didn't get much better. Like I said earlier, he couldn't get lined up. He was confused where to get lined up. He missed a lot of open field tackles, but the effort was something that was totally unacceptable for any Division I linebacker or USC linebacker to play with. So if you're a USC fan out there and you're a defensive guy and you're a linebacker specialist, let me know what your thoughts are on USC's linebacker room. Let me know about technique, getting lined up, taking the proper angles, filling holes, tackling, and effort. I'd be interested to hear that. All right, second mini rant. You want to know what gets your butt beat faster than anything? There's 2 things. Number 1, have poor special teams play. Number 2, commit selfish, dumbass 15-yard personal fouls. You know, in my coaching career, I've coached some big time receivers, both at the 4-year level and the JUCO level. Guys that went from the 4-year level and played in the NFL, guys that played for me in the JUCO level that went to the Division I level and starred, and, you know, big time guys. And they all had the same characteristics. They were great athletes, great playmakers, and divas, right? I had 3 guys in 1993 at Wayne State College in Nebraska. One guy played for the Buffalo Bills. He was in their camp as a rookie. One guy was with Cleveland. The third guy played for the Denver Broncos, won 2 Super Bowls, and then made the Pro Bowl with the Minnesota Vikings. All 3 of these guys, talented guys. All 3 of them divas. All 3 of them probably some of the biggest shit talkers with shit talking ability of anybody playing college football at the time. You know how many 15-yard personal foul taunting penalties those 3 guys got playing for me? Zero. So, you know, I don't know where the game of college football is going. And a lot of this is on the officials. A lot of it's on the coaches. But holy shit, that was pretty bad in this game. So you're making big plays at the receiver position, and then you just piss it away by doing this. Hey, look at me. You know, I'm going to do my thing. It doesn't really matter about my teammates or my coaches or anything else. So that was really frustrating for me to watch. You want to lose a big game in a hurry, have sloppy special teams, and then have your players do stuff like that. Unacceptable. Okay, deep breath now with the rant. So like I said in the title of this thing, sloppy with a few great throws. And that's what it was. This game was well played for about a quarter and a little change into the second quarter. And man, did it get bad for the rest of the game. And both quarterbacks were just sort of not consistently sharp. And I know that there's a lot of reasons for that. Okay, you're playing with backup receivers and you're throwing the ball behind backup offensive linemen. I understand that. Both of these guys remain, in my opinion, to be good quarterbacks, not elite. And there may be, at this point in time, 2 elite quarterbacks left playing college football, and they both play in the Big Ten. And I think, in my opinion, the dude at the quarterback position is playing in Bloomington, Indiana. Okay, guys, so let me know what you think. Did I get it right or did I get it wrong? This is QB Unfiltered, and remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.